Welcome back to your favorite convention-related podcast, Con Job. This week, Dylan and I are joined by Mr. Jeremy Lentz from Scorched Design. Once again, we're doing a review of a show he just got back from, Tokyo Comic-Con, which took place in Tokyo. So it was December 6th through the 8th, and we talk about a lot of different things like how to get to these shows overseas, differences with the exchanges of money, how just a bunch of the cultural things that happen over there. So hope you enjoy. Without further ado, we are back. Dylan, Jeremy is back with us this time. I guess it's his second time, right? No, it's like your fifth time. I don't even know. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Very forgettable. So it's fine.
Well, you don't have the hair hanging out today, so you look different.
It's true.
And as Ryan says, he's like, "Oh, is that a Bulbasaur hat?" I said, "No, yeah, Squirtle."
Hey, at least I knew who Bulbasaur was. So Jeremy, we're going to be, and Dylan, we're going to be talking about Tokyo Comic-Con, December 6th, 7th, and 8th. And it's an interesting one because it's a long flight. So where do you want to start? Because I know the load-in for that building is you got to go up that escalator, right? And get in that, right? Do you remember it's in Chiba, right? It's not in Tokyo. It's in
Chiba. Probably 20 minutes outside of like Tokyo proper. It's like there's one of two actual like venues big enough for a Comic-Con in the area. I assume Chiba's way cheaper, and that's why they go there.
It wasn't very cheap, right? When you
not
say
for
cheap,
me. Not for
what
me.
Was the cost? What
cheap
was the cost
for the
of the
convention?
Booth?
So their booths are a little bit different. It's what was it? 3 meters by
3 by 3, right?
No, it was like 3 meters by. Oh gosh, what was it? Like a meter and a half. The total
10 by like 5.
3 meters, I think, is like 9 and some change, right?
Change,
Not quite 10, yeah.
So it was enough where they had an 8-foot table, and then they had like a 2-foot kind of section for us to set up, and then they had a storage area behind the booth. So everything was. It's not like you come in and there's tape on the ground, but it was. It's like they actually had like a physical booth set up.
Yes,
for you.
It's made out of like that particle board.
Yeah, so it's like metal frame particle board.
By
so
the way,
it was
it's 9 feet and 10 inches, 10.11 inches, thanks to Siri. So
it was like 9 by 6, something like that. 9 by 5, something like that. I don't exactly remember. But that's including your storage area.
Right.
And it's like a co-mingled storage area too. So like everybody's just trying to be nice to each other. It's like having a one giant back room for everyone.
But do they try? They don't have to try. They're just nice.
Yeah, no, it just worked.
Very, very respectful.
The most respectful, courteous vending neighbors I've ever had.
Not to hold on, not to really go off on a tangent, but we did the show last year, and there was a booth across from us. The guy was from North Carolina. He had been living in Tokyo for 20 years as a teacher. And he was like, at the end of the day, we had Meg's originals and we were getting ready to put them under the table because we didn't want them sitting up on display. He's like, "What are you guys doing?" I was like, "Oh, we're putting them, put them out, when somebody's stealing." He goes, "They have a thing called respect here." He goes, "Watch this." He took out I don't know if it was 1,000 or 10,000 yen, and he put it on his table. He goes, "That'll be right there tomorrow." Sure enough, we come in tomorrow. It's sitting right there. He's like, "I told you." He goes, "I could have put this in the middle of the floor. Nobody would have touched it."
About that.
It's I was like in America, you put your phone down and turn around and talk to your friend. Your phone's gone.
Yep.
So anyway, continue, Jeremy.
Dylan had something. What were you asking?
Dylan had a question.
I was going to ask. Well, it sounds like Ryan, you were here last year. Is this your first time, Jeremy?
Yes.
So
yes.
what made you attracted to such a long trek?
We were it was at New York Comic Con, so just in October. I was talking to another friend that does shows, and he was like, "Hey, I'm doing this thing in like first little bit of December in Japan. Do you want to go do that?" And I was like, yeah, that
said no to
sounds fun.
Japan?
Let's go to Japan. So it wasn't so much that I was like dying to go do it. It was just like the opportunity presented itself, and I was like, let's just give it a go. We don't have anything going on in December, so why not? And um,
And the
it
smart thing for you is you did the Fan Expo San Francisco the weekend before, so you could
yes,
fly from the California side, which helps the flight significantly.
yeah. So it actually doing Fan Expo San Francisco worked out really well, like Ryan was saying. So like our flights, it was Jen and I both. It was like $800 a piece round trip from San Francisco. So for flying nonstop to Tokyo, that was pretty good.
How long was
The
that flight?
11 hours, 11 and a
Yeah.
half hours,
If
something
you
like
would have
that.
came from our side, it would have been like 19, 18.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also we flew on a Japanese airline, so even back in economy, with the other poors, it was
The peasants.
the peasants. It was the equivalent to like a business class on most
Okay.
American-based airlines. So it was a
Yeah.
super comfortable flight, good food. The 11 hours was just like, you got to think we drive 15 hours to go do Dallas or whatever it is. So
Easy breezy.
it was way easier than that. Got to watch Lord of the Rings.
You can watch the extended versions twice.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why.
All three.
But yeah, that was, I mean, we've had a couple of canceled vacation trips to Japan this past year. Things keep getting pushed around. Do a show, something comes up, whatever. So we weren't able to go. So when the chance popped up, we were like, so go to Japan and make money. Yeah, we're gonna go do that.
Yeah. And then you spent like 2 weeks thereafter.
Yeah, I spent all the money. So
So let's get into the money part then. And like as far as Friday goes, like how was how was it?
Friday for us was I will say just like in general, like the show was fine. It wasn't amazing. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. We had a funky spot. I know everybody wants to blame their spot, but I did send some video and photo evidence to people of just kind of how weird. We got there. I was so stoked because we were across, like there was they do food trucks there, probably 50 food trucks out the back side of this building, and it's like every imaginable type of food you'd want. And we were like, you could see the people coming and going from this thing. We were 50 feet away from the entrance. So I was like, right next to food. There was a bathroom right there. So I was like, cool. And then our booth was facing where people sit and eat. So we were like, this is easy money. We're good. But the problem is the culture is so significantly different that we saw almost no traffic. It was really odd. People completely avoided that side. And then if you went one section over, it was like having to squeeze through. So it was really odd. Like the people eating, they set it up like cafeteria style. So it was like seats. It was like, I guess it'd be more like a schoolroom style. So it's like multiple like 8-foot long tables facing this other direction. And people just sat there very quietly and ate, did not look and talk and chat. And like, it was really weird. Just like culturally to see like the stark contrast there. But yeah, like it was cold, and being close to that entrance, I think people were just like, I don't want to walk over there. It's cold. People are eating over there, whatever. I'll probably never really find out like what the deal was with no traffic, but Friday was fine. We covered hotel on Friday. So that was for like half the trip's worth of hotel we covered on Friday. It was good. Definitely language barrier.
Google Translate is your friend.
So we used a lot of Google Translate. I had studied some Japanese over the last couple of years, so I knew very basic greetings and kind of niceties, but there's like certain things.
Hola.
Yeah, ¿cómo está? There, I got a story about that, but it was there's certain things that I didn't think about, and it's relevant to even here. We are acting as like a retailer in a, like a retail store type thing. There are cultural norms that you do as a retailer there that I didn't think about until I was there. Just phrases and ways of doing things um, that are just unique to Japan. Like you say certain things when they come in. You do this thing. You don't do that thing. So there was a little bit of a crash course on Friday.
Oh, how about
Just
the money when you
money
hand them
situation.
change? Remember
So
when you hand them change?
yeah. There's like so we went didn't go buy our tray, but like you have to present everything a very specific way. You two hand everything. You don't just say like here's your change. Um, we did do things in like even amounts, so it was like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 yen. So we didn't have any coins. Um, so that was fine. Um, money was just weird. I did learn how to say all of the amounts and tell people how much things were and like listen for like how much is this type things. So very basic stuff. I think I only busted out Google Translate like 5 times over the whole weekend. So
Okay, that's not
um,
bad.
either they realized I was that stupid for trying Japanese and they started speaking English, or there was a lot of people from the local like military bases that came out. So
How
those
many
people
vendors
is
would
like
you say are American?
3
There's a bunch, right?
Okay,
You only
so
saw 3?
vendors. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I
Artist
saw a
Alley
bunch. I
was
mean, they
more.
lived there, but they were Americans that moved to Japan
So
when
there
I was there.
was the people next to us, there was an Australian guy and a guy from England, and then everybody else was Japanese, and then on the back side there was 2 Americans there, and everybody else was Japanese.
would you
So
say the same like products that you sell stateside like it does not translate? Because I've been told that,
No.
like
it
do you,
is wildly different. It's America, we love to import anime stuff, whether that be art, figures, whatever. There and not that people don't like superheroes in America, but it's definitely like anime is like the big thing over there. Complete flip flop. Anime is
Yeah. You'd
everywhere. They
think,
do love anime, but at the
yeah.
same time, it's Marvel. Like anything Marvel, Batman, Superman is up there, but like like Marvel's Spider-Man, you couldn't get bigger than Spider-Man.
hmm.
It's
Yeah,
really
but they didn't. I want to say we may have sold 4 anime prints the entire
hmm
weekend. They just don't care for it. They do
They
not. They
yeah.
just
like
love
Disney.
your Disney princesses and stuff. Was that hot for them?
They love Disney, but they were. I would think, oh, this is where anime was born. Like they'll love it here. Nope,
Yeah,
nope.
they like it. Like I mean, it's what you expect. You see people reading manga like on the
Yeah,
train
they
and consuming,
put
but
it on. There's
it's just
signs
they can
everywhere.
go get it at the
Hmm.
local like, corner store, right? So like it's nothing special for them. Whereas here it's like an event they get to go and it's like, oh, I get to see anime. Whereas there you walk down the street and like the government ads are anime or whatever. Like everything's anime. Um, McDonald's cups had some anime stuff on it that I'd never even seen. So um, it is a weird mix. There's actually several vendors that like their specialty was Americana like toys. So like stuff that Japan wouldn't have gotten from like the 80s, 90s. They love like Apple computer stuff, like vintage like Apple stuff. That was like a whole booth had like several like old t-shirts from them and just like saw like the Talk Boy from like Home Alone, like just Americana style toys and things that they did like Spawn, lots of Spawn stuff, which nobody here does anything with that anymore.
Yeah. It's rare. You get like some artists will have 1 or 2 at most.
Yeah,
Is there a celebrity guest roster? And if so, was there any?
it was big guess, but a small list. It was like Viggo
Yeah.
Mortensen. It was like Hannibal people, um,
Hannibal,
Christopher.
like the TV show Hannibal, like
Yeah,
Hannibal
yeah,
Lecter.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
so like Mads Mikkelsen.
Mads Mikkelsen. Yeah, that Mads Mikkelsen. Not who did I say? I'm
You said
thinking
Viggo
Lord of the
Mortensen.
Rings. I'm thinking Lord of the Rings.
You were watching it
I'm
on the way over. We get it.
still think I watched it there and back, so that's all I'm thinking about.
Thank God you didn't
Yeah,
call him
Mads
Sheila the Spider.
Mikkelsen, like Christopher Lloyd.
You mean Star Wars then? Because Mads Mikkelsen created the Death Star. And
Yeah,
Christopher
there you
Lloyd.
go.
No,
I forgot about
Christopher
that.
Lloyd. No,
And
who
then
was
the dude that
Dooku? Not
plays
Christopher
Boba
Lloyd.
Fett, two Boba
Christopher Lee.
Fetts. I'm so bad with the celebrities. I just don't bother most of the time.
Yeah, they had big names because when I was there the year before, they had what's his name?
Like Marissa Tomei, maybe.
Oh wow!
I don't know.
No,
Bunch
who did
of
they have?
like,
Who's the doctor with the cape? The Strange Doctor Strange. That's DC.
Benedict
Right?
Cumberbatch.
Marvel.
he may have been there too, for all I know.
You know my Marvel expertise. So yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch. He was there when we were there last year. They had a bunch of Marvel guys because even the white Captain America, because there's a white and a black guy, right? For Captain America.
Chris Evans.
Yeah, he was there. Isn't there two Captain Americas?
Yeah, Jude Law, I think, was there.
All right.
Oh wow.
I think Benedict Cumberbatch was there again. There was a bunch, not a bunch, but like there was like a solid like 10 or 12 or something like that were just like household names here.
So this really was more of a Comic Con than, maybe an anime convention. It's
yeah, like Marvel had a big booth, lots of Harry Potter, like Warner Brothers had like a whole setup. Anime stuff was there. There was like some anime focused stuff. The entertainment was very different. They only did like 2 or 3 panels with celebrities, and there was only like, there may have been more than one panel area, but there was like one big main stage, and it was mostly like idols singing and dancing the whole show. Like, so like, just we were close enough to that where we could hear everything going on, and it was like, I'd say over 3/4 of it was idols or just some sort of like performers. They had like magicians from like America's Got Talent or something like that. Really random stuff. They had like a dancing competition that was like a national thing that they had like done qualifiers for. It was very interesting, very different. It wasn't just like a huge, panel after panel after panel of like, this guest is going to be doing this thing, this thing, this thing. Like, I guess maybe because like they don't really, the panels that I did see, they didn't really do like any sort of translation. So it was like the guests were speaking in English, and that was kind of like you either got it or you didn't. So
you had an okay Friday. You're happy with paying off the hotel, and you
Yeah.
said it's the hotel for the whole trip. So I mean that's good. And you stayed
Yeah.
a little bit longer, so that's good.
yeah,
And then,
yeah. The goal was to pay for the trip. Like, let's pay for this trip, because outside of that, we had no idea what to expect. Saturday, we were kind of like, Friday was low, but like it did okay. Also, because we were in this super small area and we were flying across continents, we only brought prints. So we're completely
high quality prints, I assume.
Very high quality prints. But we were out of our element as far as like, we didn't have, 90% of our normal product. I just busted out a ton of prints based on our regular designs that we would have. And we weren't charging very much because it's a different economy over there. One of the great things is the dollar is really strong against the yen. So it's great for traveling, but when you're there selling things, you have to be kind of, in line with their prices. So we were selling things for cheaper, had to pay for a bunch of stuff. So it was like, volume was really high, but like just profit on everything was way lower than normal. But Saturday was good. Crowd was there. I think we ended up, I have to go back and look, but I think Saturday paid for the show, which was cool. So that was kind of like, actually Saturday, I remember going back, it was like that had paid for the show and the flights. So by the time we were done Saturday, we had kind of broken even.
You're good, right?
On the whole, like getting there and actually like the total financial obligations had been met. So Sunday we were kind of like, oh, this is like the free money type thing. And Saturday was really good. It was way busier. We had some flow of traffic in front of us, but it was still, just fighting for what we could get. I'll tell you one thing that's really cool about shows like this is it kind of um, solidifies some of the reasons why doing shows is so fun, because even across languages and cultures, like you still have those moments where you can connect with somebody about something that you have. Like we're like huge Disney people, so I have like a lot of like Disney like products and just going off on like about Haunted Mansion with somebody that you only can understand like 3 words that they're saying, but they're just like, geeking out, and you start talking about Haunted Mansion and Disney in general, and you
Well,
get
do
to
they
have those
say?
connections.
Do they like? Do they, blah 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 haunted mansion blah 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 blah? So that makes it
Sorta.
easy.
Yeah. It's, I forget what I'm not even going to
That was
attempt
my Japanese language
to,
translation, by the way. Blah 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 blah.
yeah. There is a lot of that. Like that's how you can say, a lot of the American culture stuff, they just use
Yeah,
the
there's no
English word
Japanese
for it. There's
word.
no,
Yeah,
yeah. So it's like, Haunted Mansion, or talk about Star Wars or
yeah.
whatever it may be. Game Boy. That was like one of the most popular ones, because it's the same thing here. Is you got a lot of families going. I will say, so many families. I'd say 3/4 of people, maybe higher, was like families. So that was, I didn't know what to expect with that. I wasn't sure if it was going to be a younger crowd or an older crowd. I think it skewed probably 50-50. It was a really good mix, but there was a lot of families. But yeah, having those moments was really cool, to be able to just like geek out about the things that you like without having the ability to really communicate the same way, was really fun. That was a really good time. I think it's something that everybody should at least try to experience.
So I asked this with all of our international shows. I'm going to assume stateside you use Square. Were you able to? What was your POS system over in Japan?
So, a good friend let me borrow a reader for Stripe, which I have a Stripe account because our websites are run with Stripe on the back end. So we already had Stripe account, but we didn't have a reader. So what we did there is we had to charge people in USD and just convert it, and basically just
So
say,
same thing that
hey,
I
look,
do.
show them the conversion. It's this many dollars. Is that okay? And everybody's like, yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
And I was able to take every card that they tried. I will say though, we only did 4 transactions that were card, because
Yeah.
everybody just uses cash.
That's good.
So the cash was just like their default. Like us, everybody here wants to use card by default. There, it was the complete opposite. So we did like a couple transactions where people were like, I spent all my cash. Can you take a card? So we did that, but for the most part, like I said, only 4 transactions over 3 days were done with card. But that worked out. It would have worked fine to just use the Stripe reader, but we just didn't have to.
Did the tap work on the Stripe reader?
It did, yeah.
It did. Okay, because I can never get
So
anything to work.
we figured it out. Jen actually went and looked at like
Do you have
the
to do
different
it on
protocols.
the phone? On the phone, right? Not on the actual
No,
reader?
it was working on the reader. There was
Okay.
one card that we had to insert that worked fine, but basically they just, depending on who their issuing bank is, it determines like what the card can do. So it worked.
Gotcha.
Um,
Okay.
So yeah, Square is geo-locked. So the second you try to log in from
Yeah, it knows
outside
where you
of
are.
your country, you're done.
Yep.
Then that's
Doesn't
the
happen with
case.
Clover. Just
Yeah,
saying.
that's the case with anybody that's using Stripe on the back end. Works fine.
Yeah.
So
We've used Stripe, that exact same reader. We've used that one in every one of our international shows, except the the Canada one this year was the only time we used Clover. So
Yeah.
but yeah, never had an issue with it.
So unless you have a international bank account or a Japanese
Right.
bank account, you just got to make do.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
everybody was cool with that. That wasn't an issue. And like I said, most people pay with cash. I will say if you have Square and if you take advantage of their Square checking account, those cards are completely fee-free, like internationally. So I was able to use that card, like when we landed in Japan, I was able to use that card at a 7-bank ATM and withdraw yen straight out of there with no fees. That was really nice, being able to not have to pay the like exchange fees and international fees and all that stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I get the same with I have a Capital One account that I use when we travel overseas, and I don't have to pay fees for the ATM.
Yeah, that's the big two that everybody was saying is Capital One. They have like even their basic like 360 account.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Yeah, that one, no international fees. So you're not paying, $5 every time you swipe your card or whatever.
Right. So, all right.
How's Sunday treating you? Sunday was your gravy day.
Sunday was the gravy day. Not a ton of gravy going around. It was like barely better than Friday. Like it wasn't like crazy. Like I would love to have done a lot more. But it was, like I said, it was our gravy day, and considering the value of everything there, like that was our spending money for the rest of the trip. So, overall, I considered it a win. Now, if you're going there to come back home with a boatload of money, probably not. At least depending on your product. But like I know the guy that originally talked to me about doing the show, he spent like $5,000 getting his stuff there because he has a physical product.
Mm-hmm.
So his take, he was doing a whole lot more because he was in like a different area. But at the same time, at the end of the day, like I don't know what he profited. So it's just one of those, your mileage will vary sort of things. But for us, we did enough that we got to have a free trip to Japan, and had we were gone for like 3 weeks. So it was a good trip.
Yeah, you guys did a lot too. I got some
when you come back, and if you do, are you coming prepared with different products now that you have a bit better lay of the land?
Yeah, so they do Osaka Comic-Con in April. And we did go to Osaka for a couple of days, but we didn't really get to do a whole lot. So we're now talking. It's like, if we can figure out the scheduling, I think we'll be back for that. We will change things up. I think we'll have different price points for different things. We'll know. We sold out of a few things early. So it's another one of those, just getting kind of like nailing down. I think we'd go with more, because we don't have any Marvel. We don't have any superhero stuff. So I think next time that just is, we have to have something like that. But yeah, we're definitely down for going again. If it makes sense for the schedule. Like if there's going to be like a big show here, we're not going to miss that. Like, because it's just not going to make us a killing. But
like you're not going to miss San Francisco for this.
I think honestly we profited more at San Francisco.
Really?
Yeah. Not by
But
like
from now, you'll remember your Tokyo show more than you will San Francisco.
Very much. Yes.
Yeah.
Had the time of my life. That was the best trip I've ever taken. So I think everybody should give it a go. We're gonna attempt to go.
Your friends from here that you saw over there came home and got COVID.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
Talking to them today. They're still in bed.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah.
That's terrible. I haven't spoken to them, even though we were in the same country after the show ended. I felt bad. But I think everybody should try.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know we talk about international shows because I do a bunch too. So I think everybody should try one somewhere, and not including Canada, because Canada doesn't really
Canada
count,
doesn't count.
I'm hearing from most people
it might be the 51st state, so you never know.
Sounds like
that would make getting up there a lot easier.
It's just if you want to travel here's your excuse to. Never like,
I
oh my
can
God, you guys are missing out on it. And that seems to be every international just because of the travel expenses.
I
So
can tell
Yeah.
you of all the international shows I've done, which is an extensive list, Canada is by far and away the hardest one to get into in terms of getting through the border area. Like, did
Oh,
you
I
have
will
any
say,
issue?
so no, they do a like you like fill out what you're there for online. You get a QR code,
Yep.
and you hop off the plane. You wait in a line for less than a minute, and you go see an agent and scan your code. He double checks that it's you, and they say, "All right, have fun. Grab your bag,
And
scan your code one more time." They're basically down there looking for contraband. They have
right.
adorable little corgi dogs that are searching for drugs
Oh, I
and
didn't see
fruits and
that.
vegetables.
That's
We
great.
saw somebody get busted with a bunch of fruit, and that was
Oh,
like
jeez.
that's what they're looking for. So as long as you're not bringing something you're not supposed to have, it's fine. But you scan your thing. If we knew the entire process and we'd done it, like if we were to go do it today, from the time we got off that plane to the time we walked out of the airport could be done in less than 30 minutes.
Yeah.
that's
And the
crazy.
best part about it, every airport in America, I think except the one by you, Jeremy, the carts, they charge you for the carts,
Yeah,
right? But yours
yeah.
doesn't,
All the
right?
free carts you can
Yeah.
use.
So I swear to God, every airport, and like the one by me, they're like $9 each, and sometimes we need two. Everyone overseas, every airport overseas, I've been to over 30 countries now. I've never paid a dime overseas for one of those carts. They just have them on the ready for you to grab.
Yeah,
So
yeah. We
let that be
use
a lesson to you,
several
America.
carts. Their
Greedy
taxis are
bastards.
humongous, so we can fit
Yes.
all of our stuff into the taxi. Um, it could not
Expensive
have.
taxis though, right?
Yeah, it wasn't cheap.
The taxis were no
The
joke.
airport was not close to the hotel. I will say
Not
though,
close to
Dylan, we were
anything.
talking about funds. Just for reference, uh, flights were about $1,600. The booth was
That's for
about
two though,
1,000
right?
And that's
for
from San
two of us.
Francisco back to
For
San
two of you, right?
Francisco.
San Francisco back home to Greenville.
Okay, so at least okay.
To
So and
GSP.
yep, which obviously added to the cost because nobody wants to fly to GSP. So you're talking $1,600. The booth was like 1,000. Hotels were surprisingly cheap. I think we stayed for a total of 3 weeks. I think our total hotel cost was like $1,200
For 3 weeks.
for 3 weeks.
But
Wow.
how big was the hotel room?
At decent
Small,
hotel. Well,
small,
one
smaller than New York.
the first one in Chiba was really small. It was like a
Yeah.
business hotel, but it was immaculate, and it was
Yeah.
the service was
Oh yeah.
next level.
They're amazing. And the 7-Elevens?
Plentiful and cheap
And the
and
food
delicious.
is amazing.
We
Yeah.
ate konbini food a lot. Had the world's best cheeseburger. Was very surprised by that, but it was. But I think when you're looking at the total cost, we spend a lot more money to go do some other shows. The entry
Oh,
fee, even flying across continents, was not as much. Actually, it cost us less to do like just pure show stuff. It cost us less to do that one than it did San Francisco. Because San
And
Francisco, you're paying so much per night for the hotel. The flights to San Francisco, just one way, were
right.
$450, almost $500 a piece.
were you happy with the amount of stuff you were able to fly to Japan, or based on your flight?
Yeah, we didn't sell out. We sold out of some things. So we also we mailed a bunch of stuff back, our big heavy stuff. So we took what we could that was like paper and like softer goods that were light. We flew ANA. They're like a United partner, but it's a Japanese airline. And we both had 2 free check bags. So we had up to 60
100
pounds
pounds.
or something like that.
100 pounds for two. Oh, 60 pounds each bag?
60 pounds each bag,
Oh, nice. Okay.
something like that. We weighed it. We had like probably 10 pounds free in each bag. And we only took 3. So coming back, we had 4 because of souvenirs, but it worked out. Yeah, I think we were able to take what we needed to take for this show. That's for us, the hardest thing was pivoting for our product when we're used to, even when we fly, we take, we have this, giant 100-pound box that we pack full of stuff and large Marge. And then, a giant Pelican case, and then 2 full-size suitcases, and they're all at that 100-pound limit. So,
How do you
and we're
think you would
mailing
fare
stuff.
if you magically had all that stuff there?
Oh, we would have definitely done better
But
because
not.
we were able to take some of the wood stuff, and we actually marked it up in price because it was like we considered it like the premium version of everything sold out. Like,
Enough that would you ever consider bringing that, or it's still not worth the risk and
oh
the
no, next
expense?
time we absolutely are going to look at bringing as much of that as we could. The prints were doing well. Like they'd be like, "Oh, this is cool," but like when they see the wooden ones, they were like, "Oh, this is really nice." We were just worried about it because they don't have a lot of wall space.
Mm-hmm.
I will say next time we're bringing stickers and keychains and like just like knick-knack type things. They love that because they can throw it on, like if it's like a keychain, they throw it on a backpack or something like that. A sticker, they'll slap it on something, but they just don't have a ton of wall space generally. So don't bring anything big. I think we had the 12 by 18 prints the same price as the 8 by 10 prints, and we only sold like 20.
Interesting. Okay,
Everybody was just like, too big, too big.
Yeah.
that's like our smallest
Mas
size.
Grande.
Okay.
Yeah, so our biggest seller was 5 by 7. And the price difference was not a big one between the 8 by 10 and the 5 by 7. But everybody's like, they could buy 4 of these and have them in like one little spot. So the smaller, if you're doing art, I know the other person we were talking about, Ryan, I think they sold mostly the same thing, 5 by 7s or 4 by 6s or something like
Yeah,
that.
because they did Abu Dhabi with us, and they were bringing 5 by 7s and smaller stickers to
Hmm.
there. So, but Abu Dhabi's a little different. They'll buy the big stuff too. But I know Japan, um, it's not the same. So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
it is.
I agree with that. That was most. I would say we sold very few of our larger prints, and it was 95% of the smaller ones. And I think we could have gone smaller because we only brought 11 by 14s as our small one, which we could have definitely done 8 by 10s or smaller. So if we
Yeah,
ever do it again, we would do that.
yeah. We definitely. I mean, we sold plenty of 8 by 10s, but with them being the same price as the 12 by 18s, I just assumed that it'd be like, oh, we'll sell out a bunch of these and then
Take
we'll
the
start
big
selling
one.
the 8 by 10s. But they were 90% people were like way too big.
Yeah.
Was there a lot of cosplay this show? Just curious.
Oh, cosplay is a weird one because in order
Yeah.
to go into certain areas, you have to register to be a cosplayer. You have to have like a special cosplayer pass that you pay money for. Otherwise, there's issues with, and you have to have like a handler with you. There's some law there. I don't, I'm probably like really wrong about this, but there's something about wearing a mask in public. People don't dress up and travel to it. They get there and then they change. They have huge changing areas. So you go get ready in these changing areas. Because you're not allowed to just like walk around in public in costume with like your face covered and stuff. So it's a little odd. There was more than I think you would expect knowing that, but not anywhere close to like what you would see at an American show.
Interesting. Okay. You were just talking about a lot of like
And
superhero stuff. I was like, oh, I wonder if I like dress up if
Yeah,
that draws them
like
attention.
they did still have like a lot, like the 501st was there. They had their like the Japanese branch of that, so they had a bunch of stuff. Um, yeah, I saw like there was this guy dressed up like Iron Man who looked like amazingly close to like the actual Tony Stark character. That was kind of weird. And he had the most traffic we had on that Sunday was like him standing kind of in front of our booth. Like that guy, I almost like went and gave him money because he did more to get people over there than anybody else had. So we actually made a bunch of sales off people that were waiting in line to like take photos with them. Yeah, it's
Cool.
cosplay. There's a different experience altogether, but they still take it very seriously.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Sweet. Any other?
All
I'm
right.
guessing easy teardown. You said you shipped some stuff. You got to enjoy the rest of the
Oh my gosh,
trip.
easy. I get to know how the other half live because
You're
we didn't
welcome.
have a whole bunch of stuff. Like the show ended at 5 on Sunday, and I think we rolled our stuff out. Like, everybody started to like tear down like half an hour early, an hour early, something. I think it took us 15 minutes to shut down, and we were out the door by like 4:50. So it got to be 4:30, and we were like, we're good. And 4:25, 4:30, like that. And like we were done right before like they were doing the closing ceremonies, and everybody was over at the main stage. Because that's another thing. They have all the celebrities come out for opening and closing ceremonies, and they like bang some drums, and like they all take like a shot of sake, and it's like a whole thing. So like once the closing ceremony started, everybody's like, all right, we're done. And we were out in 10, 15 minutes. It was amazing.
It's the best.
Yeah, tossed our
Careful,
stuff.
you might get used to it.
Yeah, well, that's on it. We were like, if we could just get away with this for some shows, we'll do this. But
Yeah.
it was like toss our like they have cabs waiting, and that cab was not from the so the airport's way more expensive, but this one it was like cab to the hotel was like 600 yen. So we were like $3 or $4, no tips. Just tossed our stuff in the back and dropped us straight off at our hotel, and then we went to Akihabara that night and drank and ate 500 yen pizzas. It was a good time.
Yeah, the pizza there's good. Depends where you get it. But you were in Chiba. I was telling him like when we were there, we were only in Chiba, and I was like, Jeremy was talking about how great the food was, but I was like, it was not that great in Chiba. But he
Chiba is a
said
little bit of a food desert. But if we went into that was the first night we actually went to Tokyo. So we were in Japan for 4 or 5 days before we went into Tokyo.
Yeah, Chiba. We went to this. It was an English pub. I can't remember the name of it, but it said English pub, and it said American sized portions. But it was to the point where it was like I can't eat any more of the food here. It was like not good, but that's because that's just how Chiba is. Apparently, it's amazing everywhere else.
Yes,
So
yes, I can verify that.
yeah,
As soon as we got out of Chiba, the food like exponentially was just like more available and way better.
7-Eleven was the best food. I'll guarantee.
7-Eleven was great.
That.
You can survive off of 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
Family
Same thing
Mart
in Shanghai.
They have sushi there, right?
Shanghai.
Now? Over in Japan.
Yeah, I ate so much weird stuff. I ate raw eggs, intestines,
like drinking them.
I ate
like Rocky.
Pate and all sorts of stuff. No.
Okay.
If they'd handed it to me, I would have tried it. But I was just everything. There's like a set meal, and they're like, you order the set, you get the set. But I would just go okay, and then I just shove it all in. Like the big dumb American that I am.
Well, you converted me. You had me wanting to check out a show or two over there. I definitely have some teammates that are begging to go.
I definitely think you should.
We'll get you. We'll get you into Osaka. We'll all go.
There we go.
We could bro block it. See if Adam and Tristan want to
go. Bro block
Osaka.
Yeah,
okay.
There we go.
All right. Well, anything else to add? Either of you?
No, just go do it. Try it out. It's hard to get into. I will say, communication is like non-existent. So you'll get you apply, you get an invoice. That means you're in. You pay it. You're in. That's all you need to know. You show up at the show at some point, and you'll have a spot. Otherwise, you didn't make it in. Don't show up.
Yep, I agree. It's exactly how it was.
Yeah. So as long as you're cool with that understanding, it's all good.
Well,
Dylan, you want to take us home?
For you. I was going to ask the audience, but I'll ask Jeremy. Anything you want to hear new of from the pod in the new year? Like, are you liking the show reviews? You guys want to hear more stuff? Like, anything you'd want to hear as a vendor?
I don't know. We talk about this a lot. I like the I like slice of life content. So talking numbers and stuff like that's it's fun and all, but I like just the like experiences that you have at a show. So it's like something wild happened. You just somebody
Like crashing your
somebody did,
car.
like crashing your car. Somebody did something really stupid, or somebody. I don't know. I enjoy just the chit chat type things because I do think the reviews are good just to get an idea for um is the show worth going to? But that stuff is also it's so varied. It's hard to really say this show works for you,
Right.
this show doesn't work for you, and um, I think it's valuable. But I think talking about if you're going to do a show, like um, tips and tricks for doing that show, whether that's stay here, go here, eat this thing, stay away from this part of town, whatever. I like that sort of thing.
Okay. Good to know.
All
Duly
right.
noted.
Yeah, but I don't listen to the show, so
Of course. Yeah, we
We appreciate that.
I'm a long time listener,
All right, Dylan,
right.
you get
Well,
to take us home. It's our
other than
last
that,
show of 2024.
yeah, follow us on our socials and let us know what you want to hear. We will listen. And yeah, talk to you guys soon, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.